Welcome, children, for the third part of Class 8 History, first chapter How, When, and Where. In our previous days class, we have done what is colonial and administration produces records. There, the village tehsildar's office. The tehsildar office means executive magistrate. The collectorate, the commissioner office, the provincial secretariats, the law courts all had their records room. For keeping records, they have their records room. Specialized institutions like archives and museums are also established to preserve important records. We have done up to here. So let us continue the remaining part, that is third paragraph of page number 5. Letters and memos that moved from one branch of the administration to another in the early years of the 19th century can still be read in the archives. So still we can read it. Archive means a collection of historical documents or records providing information about a place, institution, group of people, etc. You can also study the notes and reports that district officials prepared, or the instructions and directives that were sent by officials at the top to provincial administrators. So you will find there what the reports that district officials which they have prepared, the institutions and directives, what direction they have given, that were sent by officials at the top to provincial administrators. In the early years of the 19th century, these documents were carefully copied out and beautifully written by calligraphists, that is, by those who specialized in the art of beautiful writing. Calligraphists means person who are specialized in the art of writing, children. So in the early years of 19th century, these documents were carefully copied. It was copied nicely out and beautifully written by calligraphists, that is, by those who specialize in the art of beautiful writing. So those people whose writing was very good, they wrote it and kept it as record. By the middle of the 19th century, with the spread of printing, multiple copies of these records were printed as proceedings of each government department. So as each government they came, so these records were printed and it was spread of printing it. That means it becomes multiple there. So children, you see right part of this page reports to the home department. This thing you must read it, children, which will be helpful for you. Okay, let us proceed to next page of the chapter, that is page number 6. Surveys become important. So surveys like investigation, it become important. Let us see. The practice of surveying also became common under the colonial administration. When that means say the Britishers or others, they were ruling. At that time, the practice of surveying, to do survey, it was common under them. The British believed that a country had to be properly known before it could be effectively administered. So, the British, they believed what? A country had to be properly known. It should be properly known before it could be effectively administered. By the early 19th century, detailed surveys were being carried out to map the entire country. In the villages, revenue surveys were conducted. The effort was to know the topography, that land features, okay, the soil quality, the flora, the fauna, the local histories, and the cropping pattern, all the facts seen as necessary to know about to administer the region. In order to administer that area, in order to keep under the guidance of somebody, so this thing were needed. Flora is all the plant life present in a particular region or time, and fauna is all the animal life present in a particular region or time. From the end of the 19th century, census operations were held every 10 years. Census means counting the number of people, which still that means used to do after every 10 years. Census options were held every 10 years. This prepared detailed records of the number of people in all the provinces of India, how much increase or decrease, that data is used to collected from there. Noting information on castes, religions and occupation, etc. There were many other surveys such as botanical surveys, zoological survey, archaeological surveys, anthropological surveys, forest surveys. These different types of surveys are also took place. So botanical means plants for scientific study. So these are the different branches which will you learn in your later classes first. Let us come to what official records do not tell. From this vast corpus of records, we can get to know a lot, but we must remember that these are official records. Corpus means a collection of written or spoken texts. From there, of records, we can get to know a lot. Too much we can know, but we must remember that these are official records. They tell us what the officials thought, what they were, let us see the next page, what they were interested in and what they wish to preserve for posterity. So posterity means the future generations of a family. So what that means, preserved, set for future generation of the family. They tell us like that. These records do not always help us understand what other people in the country felt and what lay behind their actions. These records do not always help to understand what other people in the country they are feeling and what lay behind their action, what is behind their action. For that we need to look elsewhere. When we begin to search for these other sources, we find them in plenty, though they are more difficult to get than official records. We have diaries of people, accounts of pilgrims. Pilgrims means person who travels a long way to visit a religious place. And travelers' autobiographies of important personalities and popular booklets that were sold in the local bazaars. We need to look elsewhere, other places also, the places which is mentioned here. As printing spread, newspapers were published and issues were debated in public. Leaders and reformers wrote to spread their ideas. Poets and novelists wrote to express their feelings. As printing it spread, so newspapers were published here. Newspapers published and issues, whatever issues there, on that it was debated among the public. Leaders and reformers wrote to spread their ideas. Leaders and those persons who want to bring changes, they wrote to spread their ideas. Poets and novelists wrote to express their feelings, whatever they feel. They began to write on it by these poets and novelists. All these sources, however, were produced by those who were literate. Literate means qualified, person who can read and write. That is called literate. All these sources, however, were produced by those who were literate. From this, we will not be able to understand how history was experienced and lived by the tribals and peasants. Peasants means laborer. From among all these sources, however, were produced by those who were literate person, many genius person they produce. There's many things, but you see, from this we will not be able to understand how history was experienced and lived by the tribals and the peasants. From here we cannot. No. The workers in the mines or the poor on the streets, getting to know their lives is a more difficult task. It was not included this record. So here it is a very difficult work, okay? Yet this can be done if we make a little bit of effort, if we use a bit hard work, then this can be done. When you read this book, you will see how this can be done. Children, after reading this book, you can understand that how can it be done. So again I am telling you, boys, in every pages towards the right margin you will find some important facts are given there. You must read it, which will be helpful for you. That's all for the day. Thank you.